Got the roof back in primer. All I have to do is wet sand it tomorrow. Should have it pretty much ready by the end of the week to start painting it. Starting to look like a car. Now this is the day you've been waiting for. Well, we're in the booth and just about got it all masked up. We'll come in tomorrow at 6 and paint her. Looking pretty good.
Wow.
Well, I got the car back home. She's looking pretty sweet. Came out nice. Color looks really good too. Wasn't sure if I was gonna like that color, but I really do like it. Looks really good in the sun. Well, I got a shop full of work for us to do. I got all the parts over here except for the hood and the deck lid. I just painted those today. And I had to make a couple of trips to get all these parts because they're so damn big. They won't only fit one fender in the back of my truck at a time. But she's coming along. It's gonna look pretty good put together.
I am back in Arizona. And you know what? The Charger has been painted. And I cannot wait to show it to you guys. I've been dying to get back out here. Obviously I had to go home for work. I am a working man. I have a couple of different jobs, but no one needs to go into that. But I want to show you the car. It's still blown apart. We got one door on. Like, as I pulled up, I literally ran to the barn right here behind me just to see it, because I've been only seeing pictures every day. And my buddy Rod's been kind enough to send me videos every single day, and I've just been clamoring to see it in person, and wow, it came out amazing. So check this out. There she is. And the closer you get, the more flake you can see. It's truly amazing. And I wasn't really a big fan of this color to begin with. In fact, even when it was in the paint bucket, it just didn't really grab me, I guess. But I can't change a car that was painted like this from the factory. It's on the VIN tag, it's in all the codes. It's just not the right thing to do, especially for this kind of car. If it was an old K20 that didn't really have as much nostalgia behind it like these cars do, I wouldn't care. But as you get, I've mentioned it several times, I do care on this car. But keep in mind, it hasn't been cut or buffed. This is just literally off the gun, 2-stage base coat, clear coat, and it is truly amazing. See if I can stay out of the light. Maybe you can see some of that flake in there, but it's really beautiful. But we got this door on literally as I jumped out of my truck getting here. My buddy Rod's like, hey, let's go look at the car, and I'm like, I'm right there with you. So we ran over here and just put this door on today, and boy, it just looks like a car. It's just amazing. I'm so glad. It's been 6 weeks since I've been here, and let me tell you, that was a long 6 weeks. We did put the deck lid on It's on loosely, but then we realized we have to do a little touch up under here. You can't really see it, but due to the way that when you shoot metallic, it has to be like this, like it's on a car. If you're not going to paint it on a car, the fixture that you have it on has to be in this fashion. Otherwise, the flake won't lay down correctly. Like, for instance, he painted this door on a fixture, and obviously, unless your car's on a whirly jig, and we don't have one, so we're shooting it, like this. But if you were to have this door, or for instance, if you were to have this hood the way it is, obviously the metallic is going to lay down when you shoot it differently as opposed to it would being upright. So that's how these professionals do that. They put the the fenders on a fixture that holds it the way it would sit on a car, and that's how it's able to blend. So now the door and the quarter both look the same, even up close. In fact, this one has a little less orange peel than this one, but like I said, it hasn't been cut or buffed or color sanded, so all that trash, and there's really no trash on it, but just little nubs of stuff. It's still flashing off, it's dry, but the hood is actually the last hood and the deck lid were the last ones that were painted. But what a phenomenal job. I mean, I'm blown away. First off, I'm fortunate to have a friend that would do this. I know how much work it is, and he's the kind of guy that just likes to stay busy all the time, like me. And the scary part is when you're not busy. That's when I start to worry, like, what am I going to do? And but yeah, yeah, it truly came out amazing. It's like jewelry. So here is the driver fender. This was the better of the two. And he actually said, hey, I noticed on one of the fenders there's a hole down here. And I knew what he was going at when he said it, and I just let him finish. And I said, yeah, in my I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? In my digging of familiarizing myself with Dodge, Chrysler cars. This is my first Chrysler build, so I had to do a lot of research. Research, that's the word I was looking for. Anyway, so I came across the little Pentastar on the side. A lot of guys, even hardcore Dodge guys, don't know this, but Walter P. Chrysler wanted, when he planned that the car would be at some point on the side of the road, and people are walking by, right? So he wanted a subtle sign that his Chrysler product was that car. So he put a tiny little Pentastar. It's about this big, maybe 3/4 of an inch high, and it goes right there. You can see it. There's just two little holes, and it just snaps in. And I actually have that. In fact, that was in my first Charger video, if you ever watched that. It's probably my biggest, most viewed video to date. I think it's because of the keywords that I put up in there. I said I bought my dream car, and everybody seems to like that. So sorry, it's not a Lamborghini, which most young kids want to see, but I'm an old guy, so I like 60s and 70s cars and trucks. So anyway, that's a weird oddity. Pretty cool. Not many people know that. And then in that first video, I also talked about the driver's side lug stems and lug nuts being reverse thread, meaning left-hand thread. And so some of you are thinking, gosh, he's already talked about this, but for those of you who don't know, these cars came with, instead of lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, they're righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. And the theory behind it was when the car was rolling forward, as they do, some engineer in his infinite wisdom thought these lug nuts are going to fall off, or maybe some prototype. Now I'm just thinking out loud now as to why they would have done that, but it sure made for a lot of broken studs over the years. When you see these cars broken down, most of them will be missing a stud because they took it to some garage that didn't know Mopars, and they hit the gun and it ripped off. So, but now you know, most everybody changes them back to right-hand thread. All the metallurgy in the lug stems these days and the lug nuts, they're far more superior to what they were back then. So I wasn't about to do that. That would just be annoying. But I guess if you're going for a concourse restoration, you know, if you're that aggro as far as restorations go at it. There's guys that are selling that stuff still. Pretty cool. 2 little oddities that I never knew, and I thought they were the most interesting, so I wanted to bring them to your attention. No stone goes unturned here at McDaniel Motorsports, but the inside of the car is primed and sealed. Looks really good in here. I basically just wanted it to not rust. I mean, the E-coat is only good as the guy that sprayed it, and it's usually on a Friday afternoon, so it's going to get boom mat or something of that. I personally use Cool It or the Thermotech stuff. It's the same as boom mat, really. So it'll all get colored or covered. And then we hung this deck lid here, which came out just almost perfect. I mean, and I'm not building a show car here. I never claimed to, didn't want one. I just want a car I can wax on Saturday and cruise on Sunday. And that's me. I love junk too, don't get me wrong. And I believe mechanical should far come before cosmetics. But if you can have both, why wouldn't you? So we just got to reshoot this. It's a little light in here, and I'm sure a lot of these cars came with some paint missing here and there. Wasn't a big deal. I did insist that Rod, my buddy who painted this car, sign it somewhere, and I go, where did he said I signed it? He goes, I signed it, and he points to the sticker. I'm like, no, Rod, I want it old school. Like, I want you to paint it with a brush and date. So this car is forever painted by him. So, and he agreed, so I'm stoked. But yeah, look how amazing this thing looks. It's unfortunately the camera does not do it justice. And being here in person, it's a wow. He exceeded my expectations, and let me tell you, he did this as a buddy. I bought all the materials, I helped him prep the car, I did all the metal work, but it's my car. But he's got so much time and effort into this car, and he likes doing this stuff, but we all know working on someone else's car isn't always your most favorite thing to do. But he's just such a good guy. I mean, I can't say enough about him. I really can't. And they treat me like family here and invite me all the time, and my wife, and it's just, this is where I want to end up here in Arizona. I just love it up here. So, but yeah, look at this. Unbelievable. Shine. What's funny is when I went out and bought this car, I picked it up from a guy named Bill. Super nice, salt of the earth guy. I actually bought it sight unseen because it was like, I don't really care how bad it is, and he was swearing up and down it's not that bad, and it's a good builder. And so I took his word for it. You know, you just got to take a chance. And for many years, I didn't think I could afford a Charger, and that boat just sailed. And one popped up one day. I was just sitting on Facebook Marketplace, and it was in my price range, and my price range was a junk Charger, and this is it. So I drove straight to Oklahoma City to get it with cash, or no, I wired that cash to them. So they had the money before I even saw the car, which is pretty sketchy in this day and age. So I get out there, the car is exactly the way he described it. Also a breath of fresh air, because it seems like no one really has the same moral standards, I guess. I don't know if that's the right name, but it was exactly as he listed it. In fact, I think he downplayed it a little bit, which is always refreshing. And that's my angle when I'm selling a car. I'll downplay it. Like, look, dude, not a show car. It's nice. You can wax it. You can cruise it, but you can drive it out of the garage without fearing, you know, the sky is falling. So those are my kind of cars. I like to be able to drive them, but you know, to each his own. Let's see what else. Here's that other fender with the little holes there. But overall, so what we have to do, I searched far and wide. I actually called Tom or emailed Tom at Rocket Restoration up in Washington about this paint color, the Blackout color. And I thought it was just a flat black. Well, it turns out it's a product called Organosol. And it's the only Organosol on these cars because it's kind of a textured black paint that just blacks out from basically from here down to the drip rail. And so it's all blacked out, I guess. I don't know if they're worried about reflections or what, but so I had to chase this paint out. There's only one guy that makes it, or only one guy Tom could get it from, Tom Hergert, with Rocket. And it's expensive, but I had to do it. I have to put the right colors on the car. And it's some crazy paint that makes some sort of a black texture on it. So, and it comes with crazy directions on how to do it and how not to do it. And so we're gonna do that while we're here. And then we also bought a quart of, or maybe even a gallon of hot rod flat black, which is gonna be my Blackout treatment up here. And basically from here down is gonna be blacked out. And the whole idea behind that is so when you're looking, all the grills are basically wide open to color. And it's like seeing it would be like seeing a shiny radiator through the grill. Some guys can live with it, some guys can't, but I want to stick with the OEM body. So I want to do it as close to OEM within reason. I'm not going to get all crazy, but I am going to do with what I have. And this car is very complete, so I'm not too worried about achieving that. But yeah, I'm really stoked to have a friend like this that did this for me, because he has been working on this literally for 6 weeks, ever since I left. And I left with a lot of guilt because I know how much work this is. But anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. But tomorrow's video will be more panels on this thing. And I will keep you guys up to date every night on our progress. So if you have any comments, concerns, or questions even, shoot them down in the comments. Let me know what you think, even if you don't like it, what I should change. All right, well, see you tomorrow, everyone. Here we are, day 2. Today was the first full day of putting this thing back together. Everything went pretty easy. We did all the fit and finish of the sheet metal before we put any filler or glaze on it. And so I think, but we did realize that because the car was up on one of those jacks that go underneath the car, and it's like it's one of these hobo freight ones. See that over there, orange or yellow thing? We did all the body work with that on here, on this car, on that, and it was just more ergonomic to get to and sand in a more comfortable position. And we didn't realize that all the doors that we gapped and everything were when it was on that lift. So as most of you know, cars flex and these door gaps change, because I haven't put my subframe connectors in yet, because I was waiting to get the car where I wanted it, and then I'm going to put the connectors on, so and torque boxes as well. But look at it. Looks like a real car. The trunk lid is off. Rod saw a spot on the trunk. He didn't realize that this would be at eye light, or eye level rather. And so it was all kind of white if you were facing in here. So we just resprayed this whole thing. Now it looks tits. So it's really nice. I did not care much for this color before, but now that it's laid down in the paint, and it hasn't even been cut and buffed, as I mentioned last night, so I would imagine it's going to be even better when I get a chance to get to that. So look at that, that's amazing. And it's just amazing. The two-stage flake is just mesmerizing. to look at. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. But overall, super happy with today's progress. All our door gaps are looking really good. Our hood is just like 1/8 of an inch too far back, and here's why. Now I don't have those standoffs in here that would hold the hood up like flush in the very, very front, but if I did, this would look, they wouldn't sag down past the bumper level. But yeah, it's looking really good. But you can see how the hood could come just a little bit to that, so it would be even. They're supposed to be even. So, but yeah, the passenger door took us every bit of 4 hours to put back on, and we had it on perfect. Go figure. When paint's on the card, things are different, I guess. Excuse me. I'll open up the hood. Put some bumpers in to protect me on the drive home. There's actually 2 per side. And then the little standoffs with the rubber adjusters go here. I'll find them, they're here somewhere, but I can't leave home without those, or leave to go home without those. So, but I have all the rubber stuff. But yeah, this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. It's not a show car, but it's somewhere between a show car and a beater. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. Still got to do the keyframe. Just on there to keep a roller. We just painted the battery box today, and the reflector housings that go in these holes here. We sprayed those today, and a bunch of bolts that are going to be indoors and whatnot. We like to let them cure for a little bit and have temporary bolts in the doors, or any painted bolt. I like to let the paint in cure before we handle them. Because when you put a ratchet on it, it's, you're lucky if it comes out looking decent, but if you put an impact on that, it's not going to be good. So we just used ratchets and wrenches to put it together. That's how I've always done it, and it's safer to me. So, but yeah, I am super happy with the way it's come out. Got those bumpers there. These guys, these are Mopar specific, or those are Mopar parts. Yeah. And that makes it cost 3 times more. It's funny how that works. These guys, which I believe they are supposed to be raw, not painted, like a lot of people thought they should be painted. They are not. I believe the technical color is galvanized. But yeah, same thing here. But yeah, we kind of overdid it on the doors because these will be covered. But in the meantime, I figured it'd be a while before I get a door card on it, because the whole goal for this car is to get the engine in it, transmission in it, drive shaft measured and installed, and a decent set of wheels and tires, and we're in business. We're going to drive it. And that's really the most important thing, just like David Freiberger says. Don't get it right, just get it running. So that's a good mantra to live by for all of you who are listening to this or watching this. So, but yeah, this is the car I always had to have, and here it is, painted. What a great feeling. And I've got such wonderful friends. I mean, this friend, I paid for the materials and did all the sheet metal work, and he was a former owned a body shop for many, many years, and he loves this stuff. And I told him, I'm like, man, at dinner tonight, I said, I've never had a friend who has done so much for me like you have, and it really means a lot. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm really fortunate to have a friend like that takes time away from his life, his retired life, mind you. So we have a great friendship, and it's not a one-sided one. because I get anxiety when people do nice things for me. I feel like I'm always the one trying to do nice things for people, and that to me is more fun. But you got to do some horse trading every once in a while to make all parties involved feel good about it, you know? But anyway, Rod's a great guy. He'd paint any of you watching on this channel, the 12 of you that are watching me right now. He would paint your cars. He's just that guy. And if he didn't have any money, he'd probably do it for free. So he's a hell of a painter. He's a great tradesman. And I've learned everything I know about paint from this man. So enjoyed this update. I'll give you one more tomorrow night. Or in just a second, you'll see my tomorrow night's update. But I'm working to get this thing done. And I wanted to be a driver. That's the goal. A really, really nasty driver. Yeah. So thanks for following along, guys. We appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. So see you in a minute. All loaded up. She's a little dusty, but it's all in the trailer. What a journey it has been. We did the Organisol on the back here today, and just got to be as correct as I care to be, I guess. But Rod absolutely knocked it out of the park. This is, you know, it's driver quality. Don't get all misty on me, but I'm not capable, and who cares about that? I want to drive it. I don't want to have to worry more than I already have to now. So it's a blessing and a curse. And I would open the hood, but I had to really jimmy just the safety into the hood just to get it home. Even though I'm going the wrong way, it's still want to take every precaution. And you can see in there, it's pretty freaking nice. I obviously have to do the subframe. I plan on that. I still have to do subframe connectors, so I'm not done by any stretch, but I'm thrilled to be where I'm at. Obviously to have such great friends to help you out. Look at this hood. It's not even cut and buffed. It's straight off the gun. Yeah, so I have a nice protection layer for my inability to really know what I'm doing with cutting and buffing, but I've done it. I don't trust myself around corners. Amazing. Lines match. Yeah. There was a point doing the sheet mount on this car where I'm like, well, I guess it'll never be right. I mean, it was hard. I've never worked on a Charger before. So, and for those of you who've been around for a little while, the channel is kind of based on doing things yourself, not relying on a dealer or something like that. I just can't stop staring at it. Still have to finish the bottom coating. I just wanted to wait until after I got the subframe connectors on, but it's getting there. It's pretty cool inside a fender, right? The old Magnums. Here's the inside. We probably didn't need to make the doors that nice because they get a card basically over like the top 8/10 of the door inside, but I knew it'd be a while before I get the cards back on, so yeah, why not spray it? See all my hard work in here. It's been sealed, but I'm gonna do the thermotac in here and the firewall, of course, so there's no point in putting green down. I still have some left over. About 2 pints actually, so that's good. Because for those of you who don't know, mixing it after you've run out, it's a lot harder to match the paint, especially with a 2-stage like this. Not even polished or rubbed. I mean, I've never had anything this nice unless it was newer. The gutters, amazing. Well, I am heading home tomorrow morning. Got this thing loaded up. Hopefully it stays on the trailer. And thrilled to be at this point. Now reassembly begins. So I appreciate you guys hanging around and watching this obsession of mine. It's really cool to do this and love what you do every day. So, but I'll check in with you guys when I get home, and I'll film as much as I can. It's interesting for you guys. I want to be, I guess, interesting. So, see you in a few. It's hard to see the flake. But yeah, just unbelievable. Feel like it worked. And did you know this blackout treatment is one of my pet peeves with these cars? When people don't do it, it just doesn't look right and you can see past the grills. But not only that, Chrysler really complicated things, and if I don't know for sure, but from what research I've done about the front blackout treatment, it's just like a hot rod flat black, and that's it. And it was done very sloppily from the factory. Like, they didn't even mask off. It's basically just from that top core sport C channel down. And again, it was just so you can't see past the grill when the lights are on, and so on and so forth. So that's one type of black. And then you get the dash, which I don't have with me in the car, and that has a wrinkle finish to it. If you've never gotten close enough to a dash on these, like is what I'm talking about, the metal part, that is called suede. Suede is the paint that you use for like the top of the dash and the face of the metal parts. So super interesting, right? Why would they do that? I don't know. And I'm not even sure how to duplicate it, to be honest. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Maybe have a couple do-overs. But to make matters worse, this block treatment is organosol. And if you can look closely, it might be kind of hard to see. But yeah, you can kind of see a texture, a light texture. It's not quite orange peel. It looks like someone sanded it, like put sand in the paint, kind of. At first it looked like a bunch of little fish eyes. But yeah, I had to find the one guy that could mix this up. And it was a name brand paint, which I paid retail for, but I reached out to Tom Hergert at Rocket Resto to see if he knew what it was, and he knew right away. He gave me the guy's number, and it's some guy back east that mixes up organosol if you want to be super, correct and nerdy about it. So I took the opportunity because we just painted the car. I think it looks cool. I was kind of skeptical on it, but I don't believe my car came with the trim right here that covers this seam where the black meets the green. I believe that was like RT only or SE only. So even though this car is going to be an RT clone, I know I had to do it. The SS guys are doing it. I had to do it. Okay, so don't judge me. But I'm never going to represent it as a true RT. It's just going to be a clone, or however you want to say it, a tribute. So that's me, and I can do that. I make that decision. So as long as you don't misrepresent these cars to someone, you're fine. You can have anything you want. So the rear end didn't get too oversprayed, and the leaf springs are they got a little overspray, but that's all right. I haven't even painted them yet. So I expected to keep working down here underneath the car, but the fender wells might be too dark to see, but yeah, not much light in there. But yeah, it's just incredible. All right, I'll stop saying incredible. Yeah, these sail panels were so much work with the kitty hair and then shaping these contours inside back here. From what I understand, you use butyl tape here, so you don't go buy a gasket. Now, I may be wrong, but I watched a couple videos of guys just laying butyl tape down and then, you know, all around the whole flange, and then laying the window on the butyl tape, and that's the seal. And then they take their trim, which is about, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches wide, and it snaps over the window and into these holes. The trim. I believe I have to drill them on this panel because it's new with the quarter, so that's fine. But yeah, and I believe I have to do them in this one too. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an extended look at it. The gaps are pretty damn amazing for my skill set. I think we did it pretty correct to the way it came with all the fender fitment. I'll show you. It seems a little tight, and we're a little worried about it, but it doesn't hit. Let me get you a better perspective. I'd say that's pretty darn good. But I never noticed it, but there's a pretty substantial gap at the base of these doors, and they all seem to be like that. I thought that was a trip. I guess that's one picture I didn't take when I took the car apart. And then this front gap kind of ties in with the rocker in the bottom of the front fender. And there's some polishing stuff in the way, but I'd say that's a pretty decent gap. And then this is the area I call Pangea. This area where all three of them come together. Pretty solid, I think. And then this Pangea over here. It's hard to get you guys to see. Hopefully you can see that. And then you look at the hood. As you can see, the hood I don't have the adjuster standoffs in it, and so we have a towel draped over the core support, so that's why it's standing up here. And it needs to the hood needs to slide forward about 1/4 inch, and when I have those standoffs. So no big, just for the ride home. But the gaps, I believe, look pretty darn good. We spent a lot of time on them. And it's not show car quality, but not doing a SEMA build here. But these gaps are absolutely acceptable in my eyes. And we worked our asses off on them. And then these guys here, so you got a little low spot here. That's a hinge adjustment. That'll bring that up a little. We must have missed that. And then this fender is seemingly at the angle, like it looks flush, but it does kind of catch a little bit. So I think there's a little bit of an adjustment needed here. But overall, you see that little area, it's proportional. So, and then Pangea over here, all looks pretty even. So I'm thrilled. I couldn't be happier. And I never set out to make it a show car. You know, I tend more to make cars race cars than I do show cars, but who doesn't like a race show car? You know, there's that bottom gap. See how funky that is? It just looks like it would just let water right in. But I did that corner the best I thought with that, the best case scenario. Now we left this door a little high because when I load it's empty. It doesn't have glass or mechanisms inside of it. So my theory was when I load it, I won't have to adjust it much or as much. So a little forethought on my part. But the gap's consistent to me. And again, it took a lot of time. Metalwork too, actually. It wasn't just hinges and stuff. So tonight's my last night here out in Arizona in Pine Top. I just love it out here. My heart rate goes down and it's my favorite place to be. I really want to buy some land out here at some point. My friend has the best setup. That's his barn there. I've shown you guys in other videos, but it was dark. And then that's his second barn. He's in the works of closing that. And he's got 4-car garage and a game room in here. But one of the spots in the garage actually has a mechanics pit, which is, think of how useful that would be. So that came with the house. He didn't put it in. It was really, really cool. I mean, that would have sold the house for me. But and he's got a lift, a 9,000 pound you know, the lift, forearm lift, and that's super handy. So it's a dream out here. It's huge. And they got chickens, jacuzzis. Chickens just walk around like humans. But little mini barn. It's on 4 acres in a town called Pinedale. And they bought it about 3 years ago. Well, they've been here for 3 years now. But look at that. You got a whole nother spare RV pad with hookups and sewer. And then over here, he's going to make a wash bay for his RV. So he's got just projects after projects. So my man Rod likes to be busy, and I get it. I speak that language. This is like a waterway. When it'll flood through here like a Wild Rapids river. Pretty cool. But yeah, there's no downsides out here. I love it. And then their main house has 4 bedrooms upstairs and 2 bathrooms. And there's downstairs, huge living room, decks out on front. In fact, I'll walk over there, I'll show you. And there, the 3 chickens are walking around. I know this kind of deviates from the content I normally do, but yeah, you guys, it'll be worth it. Or just fast forward until I get there. Well, I have a story to tell you about this thing. And then this is their house garage. Like it's almost a 3, but it's a deep 2. But yeah, check out this patio here. This is just where I would love to be. I come out here every morning, have a coffee. The neighborhood stray cat is eating here. And I just sit in this bench and just think of how lucky I am to be here in this beautiful place. So I'm not trying to go all misty on you guys, but I just wanted to share. Oh, there's the stray cat now. What's up, Toby? What are you doing, buddy? Come here. Come here. You all full? Kitty? He was a feral cat, and then they started putting food out for him, and so he'd creep towards them about 2 feet for about a couple weeks, and then another 2 feet, and next thing you know, he's laying on their couch on his back, eating their food, and then he just goes off. He just bails. That's full on national forestry, and let me tell you, he's lower end on the food chain out here. But anyway, going home tomorrow. And again, thank you guys for sitting through this. I know it's been a long, painstaking process, and let me tell you, I got the scars to prove it. But do I have any doubts or regrets? Nah, no regrets. I'm happy to be doing what I do, and where we've come on our channel in such a short time. So, well, thanks for watching. Until the next video. Finally home, and didn't get any damage. Luckily on the road, I was a little worried about rocks and stuff going down the road. It was on an open trailer, as you saw in the most recent clip. But yeah, I'm super happy that it got home unscathed, and especially when you work so hard on something, now I understand, the shiny paint causes stress, and that's a good stress to me. I like stuff I can wax and keep clean and seal the metal up. Seems like a constant battle with these particular cars, but you can see she looks good. And so my first task, now that it's home, my transmission is about 2-3 weeks out, so I have to put on the subframe connectors and the torque boxes now that all the body lines are aligned the way they are, or now that they're aligned properly. I was afraid of doing that because I was by myself when I put this thing together, and it's really difficult. These doors are so big and so heavy, even empty without any window in them. These panels are just huge, so it really takes 2 sets of hands to get them aligned properly. So now that everything's aligned and they latch and everything moves freely, all the gaps are, with the exception of the hood's back just slightly. So that needs to be, this will be taken off anyway when I go to put the engine and trans in. But as you can see, it's slid back just slightly, ever so slightly, but the gap is money. So the gap is good. So I'm really happy with that. And you can see right here how it's just a little bit behind. So, but one last check-in before I end this video. I just wanted to reach out to you guys and thank you again for following along with this madness I call a business / hobby, lifestyle, I guess you could say, obsession. There's lots of things you could call this. A lot of people think it's dumb, it's a waste of money. Yeah, I've heard it all, but when you have something inside you, you have to express it, and I do it through cars. Some people do it through other ways, and this is how I choose to live my life, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do this. It only took me 40 some odd years. So anyway, thanks for watching. I will be pumping out content, relevant content as much as possible. I'm not going to just throw anything out there just to put it on. That's not what we do here. But again, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.